One Bitcoin is now worth over $40,000. Can you imagine if you bought a Bitcoin back when it was still worth $10? You do the math. What about if you bought 10 Bitcoins back when it was still worth $10? You do the math. I'm here to answer the question that many people have of, is it too late to enter the cryptocurrency market? If you would like to know more, please, I would ask you to stick around. But before we get there, I'm going to start by explaining what cryptocurrencies are by using the example of Bitcoin. And then I will go on into revealing my 9 top cryptocurrency projects that I believe have a chance of going to the moon in 2021. By the way, if you like our videos, please kindly push the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you can get notifications of our videos when we post them. What is a cryptocurrency? The best way to understand it is to compare Bitcoin to the US dollar. So, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a digital currency. Digital because it is entirely electronic, versus the US dollar, which is semi-electronic. It is physical because we have US dollar bills, and then we also have the digital part of the US dollar that we use through our debit card. Who created Bitcoin? Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, which is a pseudonym for the person or group of people who created Bitcoin, which nobody knows who that person or group of people is. But the US dollar was created by the United States government. Bitcoin came live in 2009. Whereas the US dollar has been around for more than 200 years. What is the idea behind Bitcoin? Basically, the idea behind Bitcoin is to provide peer-to-peer transactions that allow to bypass a middleman. That means, for example, when you go to the grocery store and you go to buy something, for example, if you're using a debit or credit card, when you buy something, it is a transaction that happens between 3 parties, between you, your bank, and the grocery store. What happens is you give permission to your financial institution or bank to release the fund to the grocery store. But then with Bitcoin, what happens is when you are using Bitcoin, when you go to the grocery store and you buy something, it is a transaction that happens between only you and the grocery store, because the money gets transferred directly from your Bitcoin wallet to the grocery store wallet. Another reason that Bitcoin was created is because of this idea of decentralization. The best way to understand it is to look at fiat currency, such as the US dollar or euros. When you look at the US dollar, for example, the US dollar, the fact that it was created by the US government, it is entirely controlled by the US government. That means the US government basically owns the US dollar and can make policies to try and control the US dollar however they want. But Bitcoin is decentralized. That means Bitcoin is not being controlled by a group of people or an institution, nor a government. That means that anyone, it could be you or me, who could contribute to basically making sure that the Bitcoin ecosystem is running well as supposed to. And no one else can try to influence it or control it in any way. So then, the other idea with Bitcoin too is that when you compare Bitcoin to the US dollar, as many of us know, the US government have been printing money and they just keep printing many and many and many of it. But then, when you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a maximum supply. There could only ever be a maximum of 21 million Bitcoin and no more than that. As of now, there is a total supply of over 18 million Bitcoin that is into circulation. So then by the time you get to 21 million, that would ever be the maximum. Only 21 million Bitcoin could ever exist. That means over time, the supply of Bitcoin is actually shrinking. But then the demand is increasing, which is one thing that is leading for many people to say that the price of Bitcoin is most likely going higher over a long period of time. As compared to the US dollar, the supply is increasing, thus its value will be decreasing over time. Now, you're probably like, I kind of understand what Bitcoin is and the idea behind Bitcoin. So then now, how does Bitcoin work? And where does it find its value? Basically, Bitcoin works through what is called a blockchain. It's a blockchain technology. The best way to understand it is this way. Let's take the example of a notebook. What happens in the blockchain is you have a series of transactions that are being recorded. So then if you have a notebook, in that notebook, you have multiple pages, right? Let's say that the notebook is considered to be a block and each page in the notebook is considered to be a ledger. And then let's assume that my brother Rico, who is the other part of Chibind brothers, of course, decides to send me 5 Bitcoin. What happens is on each page in that notebook or on the ledger, each person into the Bitcoin blockchain or the Bitcoin network basically record the transaction saying that Rico sends Joel 5 Bitcoin. And then that means that for every transaction that happens into the Bitcoin network or blockchain, each person in that network is recording those transactions until each pages of the notebook is completed. Each ledger of the block is completed. Once the notebook is entirely full or the block is full, that notebook or block is added to another series of notebook or blocks. Hence the name blockchain, because you have a chain of blocks that are connected and each block contains a series of recorded transactions. Hence the blockchain technology. Now that I've confused y'all enough with what Bitcoin is and how it works, let's now try to answer the question of if it's too late to jump into Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Personally, I believe that Bitcoin is going to be going much higher in 2021 and in years to come. My future forecast is also backed by credible sources such as JP Morgan Chase. Last week, JP Morgan Chase released a report in which they said that Bitcoin could hit $146,000 a coin in future years to come. So I am personally very bullish, meaning very positive that the price of Bitcoin is gonna be going much higher. Now, if you ask me in the short term, like let's say tomorrow, where Bitcoin is gonna go, is it gonna go up or is it gonna go down? I don't know. And I think nobody knows. But personally, I don't own Bitcoin in my portfolio as of now. And the reason why I don't own Bitcoin in my portfolio as of now is because I consider Bitcoin to be much more of a store of value. What do I mean by the store of value? It's something that it's going to return to you a good return if you invest in it. But at this point in time, based on my own personal level with the objective that I have in trying to achieve the type of wealth that I want to achieve, I don't think that Bitcoin is the one that's going to give me the kind of returns that I'm looking for. Therefore, I don't personally own Bitcoin as of now. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna own Bitcoin in the future. Also, that doesn't mean that I've never owned Bitcoin in the past. I have actually owned Bitcoin in the past, but I did sell it and then used my gains from Bitcoin to invest into other projects that I believe have potential of giving us much more upside compared to Bitcoin. At this stage of my life, I can pretty much afford to take a lot of risk. And I'm saying this not to tell you that's what you should be doing. I'm saying this because I am 100% aware that I'm taking risks, but I'm willing to take those risks because I'm only investing the money that I'm willing to lose. But at the same time, if it goes my way, I could actually make quite some good change. And that's why I don't currently have money in Bitcoin, but I have money in other coins. Now, I'm going to be revealing my top 9 crypto projects that I believe have a potential of skyrocketing in 2021. Coming up at number 1 is Cardano, or the ADA token. Cardano represents 29% of my total portfolio. This is my largest holding in my portfolio. Guys, I love Cardano, okay? I've been in Cardano since February of 2018, and ever since then, I have never sold, and I've been holding until today. Why do I like Cardano so much? Here's the thing with Cardano. Cardano is trying to build a network that will house smart contracts. What is the advantage of smart contracts? Basically, if this blockchain technology can be able to generate smart contract, that means we can be able to eliminate a middleman, for example, a lawyer or a CPA, because you can just create smart contracts between you and someone else using the blockchain technology on Cardano. The other reason is because I believe that Cardano has a potential of stealing some market share from Ethereum, because Cardano is very similar to Ethereum, as Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin, because Ethereum also aims to house smart contracts. But then here's the thing that where I believe Cardano may have a competitive edge versus Ethereum is because when Cardano they started a project, they didn't roll out the entire project at once. They are building the blockchain in stages. They started by rolling out the foundation of the blockchain. And then after that, last year in 2020, I believe it was in August of 2020, they rolled out the second part of the blockchain, which is the decentralization protocol. Basically, that means that in 2020, that was when Cardano finally became completely decentralized. So it's for the people. And then I believe in February of 2021, this year, or sometimes later on this year, Cardano will be releasing their third part of the blockchain, which is called the smart contract, right? And then from there on, people will be able to start generating smart contracts on Cardano. So I like it this way because it allows them between each stages to make sure that the next rollout is actually working fine before they roll it out. As compared to Ethereum, that Ethereum rolled out everything at once and then they are trying to do more updates and then they come back with those updates and then they try to update the blockchain. The only problem with that is for people who have already created project on Ethereum, the fact that they're updating the blockchain, it may bring some potential issues in the future. This is why my biggest holding is in Cardano. Coming up in second position is Ethereum or ETH. Ethereum represents 19% of my total portfolio. Why do I like Ethereum? I like Ethereum because I believe Ethereum has a potential of also outperforming Bitcoin and giving a lot of value to investors. Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency in the world after Bitcoin, and I believe it has a market cap of over $140 billion. Ethereum is also trying to create a network where it would houses smart contracts. So very similar to Cardano, which we just spoke about. Now, the thing with Ethereum is that Ethereum already has a huge community of developers, basically people who are creating and have created many projects on the Ethereum blockchain. So Ethereum is very much useful already when you compare it to Cardano. Cardano is just starting off. For example, there is this one token which I also own called Fanfare. That project was built on the Ethereum blockchain. The other thing that also makes me very bullish on Ethereum is that I believe that with Bitcoin going up, there will come a time when some people will feel like Bitcoin price is getting a little too high, especially the big institutional money. Like the big money coming from the big banks, such as the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgan Chase, those giants, and the big hedge funds like Ray Dalio's funds, Bridgewater Associates. These big institutional investors will be moving their money from Bitcoin into Ethereum, as Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency after Bitcoin, and it already has a community of users, which basically gives it its value because you want people to adopt the technology. And when you start having that kind of money moving into such a small market, Ethereum would be going crazy. And that's why I think Ethereum has a potential of outperforming Bitcoin. I may be wrong, but I guess we will see. And that's why it is 19% of my portfolio. The other thing with Ethereum though, in terms of downside, if we compare it to Cardano, is the fact that Ethereum, when they started, they launched the entire blockchain at once, and then they're trying to update it to try to make it better because they have some issues. And the only problem is that every time they may try to do an update, it may end up working fine, or it may also end up bringing issues on the platform, and that may affect existing projects that have already been built on the blockchain. So that is something that people who want to invest in Ethereum also need to be aware of. Coming up in third position is Funfair. Funfair represents 14% of my portfolio as of now. Guys, I know some of you might be cringing right now, saying that how come you have such a very highly speculative project at a very high allocation in your portfolio? Well, technically, Funfair is not supposed to be 14% of my portfolio. I want it to be 9% of my portfolio. The thing is just that Funfair has been ripping through the chart lately, and it's just been going up and up and up and up, and it's been going up in value a lot, that it end up being 14% of my portfolio. And I know that it is a very speculative asset, and so right now what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to be cutting my allocation down to 9%, and then I will be taking the extra gain from Funfair and I will be recycling it into another coin that I believe has a potential of going much higher in 2021. Funfair is built on the Ethereum blockchain. Just like I mentioned earlier, the Ethereum blockchain already has some project that have already been built on. What is Funfair trying to accomplish? Funfair is basically targeting the decentralization of online casinos by trying to provide secure transactions and low costs. Coming up at number 4, it's Chainlink. Chainlink represents 11% of my total portfolio. Guys, I love Chainlink. This is a big project that I love, and I personally believe that it has a really big potential of succeeding into the future. What is Chainlink? Chainlink is a decentralized Oracle network which aims to connect smart contracts on any blockchain to the real world. Chill, I know I just confused you. Let me explain what does that mean. For example, Chainlink will be able to extract data such as weather data from the real world, in the world that we are living in, and then take the data, bring it into the blockchain. It could be the Ethereum blockchain or any other blockchain that houses smart contract, and then uses those smart contracts to calculate, for example, insurance premium. So then you don't actually need to go to an insurance company, because you can just use the Chainlink to find insurance, and then you can get this insurance from them. So this is very, very powerful. And I really believe that because of that, and if the project ends up succeeding, that it's going to be big. And so that's why I'm heavily invested in Chainlink. Coming at number 5 is VeChain. VeChain represents 9% of my total portfolio. Guys, I love VeChain because I think it also has a big potential if it ends up working, especially what it's trying to do in the real world. So what is VeChain? VeChain is basically aiming to improve the collection and storage of supply chain data for businesses. This means this. For example, let's say when you go to the grocery store and you want to buy a pack of meat. Let's say you go there, you pick up a pack of meat. Using an app developed by VeChain, you can basically scan another VeChain barcode on the pack of meat, which basically will pull up information about the supply chain of that product, of that meat, right? Example, where the meat was made. And then every location where that meat has been from its original source all the way to the grocery store. The temperature at which it is supposed to be stored. Basically, it's going to give you all this information to try to make sure that the meat that you're going to buy is actually safe for you to buy and safe for you to eat, right? Pretty much. And so because of that, I think that if this end up working, VeChain is also going to go to the moon. Coming at number 6 is Decentraland. Decentraland represents 8% of my portfolio. Decentraland is a decentralized virtual world where people can create and own their own land. This is very similar to known virtual 3D games such as The Sims or The Second Life. Guys, this is a very speculative play, just like Funfair. As you can see, so far, if you look at my top 4 coins, which are Cardano, Ethereum, Chainlink, and VeChain, those represent about 70% of my account. The reason why a big chunk of my account is heavily invested in those is because I believe that those have a potential of succeeding and a potential of giving me much more return. And then the remaining 30% of my account is in speculative assets, such as Funfair, which we already spoke about, that I'm supposed to be cutting the allocation down to 9%. And then I also have Decentraland that we just spoke about, which is at 8%, right? And it is very speculative. The thing with Decentraland is I think it has a potential of growing big if a lot of people start actually using this technology, but also it could literally fail and I could lose my entire investment here. But even if I lose 8% of my account, I will still be fine. Coming up at number 7, Syndicator. Syndicator represents only 6% of my total account. Basically, Syndicator aims to develop predictive analytics for predicting future prices of assets, such as stocks. How does this work? Basically, Syndicator has over 140,000 financial analysts, traders, and data scientists. And these people, they go through a list of questionnaire where they answer to questions of where they think future prices of many assets are going to be going into the future, like for example, stocks or real estate or whatever it could be. And then these data from these analysts is now being taken into the blockchain, where the blockchain now merges these data from the real world with artificial intelligence through machine learning models to try and basically develop predictive analytics that could help predict future prices of assets. Can you imagine being able to predict the future price of the Tesla stock? That is insane. The thing here is that, do you really think that if this project ends up working, that Wall Street is not going to want to put their hand on this project? Because we all know Wall Street. Wall Street, they want to make the maximum gains they want. And if this project actually works and start predicting very accurately and then helps improving the gains, you best believe that Wall Street will want to put their hand on this project. If that happens, this project may end up skyrocketing, even though it's only 6% of my account. But if that happens, I am really sure that it's going to take me to the moon. Coming at number 8, Dragon Chain. Dragon Chain only represents 3% of my total portfolio. This is another very speculative asset. Actually, I bought Dragon Chain last year in May, and then Dragon Chain was going up. At some point in August, it started dropping, and ever since then, I've really been floating around my initial investment. I've actually been thinking of swapping Dragon Chain for another coin, which I'm not sure yet which coin, but I'm most likely going to be swapping this for another coin. Basically, Dragon Chain is used for data security and storage on public blockchain. And this is data security for enterprise. And finally, coming at number 9 is Crypterium. Crypterium is only 1% of my entire portfolio. Crypterium basically allows you to spend your crypto in your everyday life. Crypterium have a Crypterium app and a Visa card that directly converts your Crypterium token into USD when you make a purchase using the Crypterium Visa card. Now, thank you for watching this video. I hope that I provided you with enough information to help you understand the crypto market, how it works, what it is, and how you can go about investing and how you can allocate your funds around to make sure that you take advantage of the bull market in which we are in right now. With that being said, please, if you like our videos, give me that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you can get notifications of our videos when we post them. And also, if you would like to sign up for a new account with either Weibo or Robinhood, don't forget to sign up using our links in the description below, because when you sign up, we will both get free stocks. So thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.